Welcome to this enlightened episode of the Greyhorn Pagans podcast. Sit back, close your eyes, open your mind, and open yourself up to receive the eternal blessing. Welcome to the Greyhorn Pagans podcast.
And we are live. We are back on the Greyhorn Pagans podcast. Welcome everyone. I know it's been a while since I actually recorded a podcast. I've been doing random streams here and there just to keep the content flowing, of course. But we are back. My guest for today is Natalie Viglione. Thank you so much for coming on. You are I believe the second one coming from the comments onto the actual show. So
nice. Well, thank you for having me.
No problem. Introduce yourself. What do you do? What are you about? Because it's quite the introduction.
It is, yes. So at the very root of it all, I'm here to help other starseeds, indigos, those that are called into mission here in this realm, to launch, to take action, and to get what they're here to do going, because we are the army of light that is much needed in this realm for all the reasons that we could explore. And I own two brands that kind of helps in two capacities. Disrupt Now Programs is one of them. And that's really in a podcast as well. That's really about helping people to dissolve the old energies to awaken the new magic. Because, as we break through this veil of knowing that is available to us at this current time, we need to let go of everything that was so that we can step into all of the new that is. And then I own a brand called Team Goo. Goo is short for gurus, which is, not what we think it is, like inventing yoga or something. Really, it just means a teacher. And my husband and I and our team, we do creative work and support for all those indigos and starseeds, which are healers, which, are writers, which are, a multitude of missions. But that's the second way that we serve. So those are like the foundational stuff. But then, we can talk about the cosmic and the cosmic lineage and the earth bloodline.
Yeah, that's because I have, of course, checked out your website and some of your stuff, and it sounds familiar. I mean, like they're people and communities and tribes and bloodlines that I am familiar with, just not all in one place.
Right.
That's really the only difference. I've heard from them separately, but altogether it's
yeah, exactly. Well, so what's interesting is, so my cosmic lineage, and this has been, really with me since literally I was like out of the womb into the world. From a little girl, I had these dreams, and it was the same dream over and over and over and over. And it wasn't until the last few years I was able to put this into words, to be able to even speak it on your podcast. But what I knew is that everything pagan, everything Druid, everything Celtic, everything that was before the genocides took place resonated with my being, as did a cosmic or galactic or this higher self construct, which is, I kept seeing a goddess warrior, for lack, to put it into English words, which, takes away much of the magic. But this goddess warrior that kept showing up to me. Yeah. And what I also saw were great white lions. And so with basically what happens is we get all of this, I call it a magic infusion, through dreams, through remembering, which comes through our DNA, which comes through us in some way, shape, or form. These visions mean something. And often, we get sidetracked and we get tugged into this specific third density. Yeah. And we get covered up with the soot and what I call black goo, because that's what it feels like here. It's this heavy goo feeling, not the goo like in gurus, different kind.
Yeah, no, of course. But interesting that you mentioned black goo, because that's very much a thing, of course, and what you like a lot of what you see in pop culture, like people covered in that black goo. They give all different kinds of meanings to it, but basically it is a thing that takes you over and, well, anchors you, roots you in this third dimension. And either it's coming from a different dimension. I wouldn't necessarily say higher dimension, right. Or it is, very simply demons. Because, like, if you don't know what it is and it seems bad, demons.
Yeah, it kind of covers the spectrum, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but anyway, when I put all these pieces together, and then I was in this deprivation tank a couple years ago, and when you lose all sense of your body and reality, you really can feel into this more, and I've known that I'm what you would call a seer, which was, in Celtic terms, a Celtic seer, because I have all of my visions at night. My learning sessions, all the things happen at night in those dreams or astral projections. But when I was in that tank, I heard Mother of Dragons. And I was like, what is that? So it's all of this information that literally I had to have like this whiteboard and started putting things together, becoming the dot connector, the investigative journalist in my own, piecemealing of this cosmic lineage and then this bloodline on Earth. And truly what ended up coming through is, oh my God, this cosmic lineage is a lineage of a guardian founder race that founded this, what we call Earth, and created it from the beginning. And they're coming back in droves, bringing people star seeds indigos in with missions to be the army of light, to be one of many that are operating on this level. And the great white lions of Sirius were the white lions that were in my visions every night for years. I can't even tell you how long. It was many, many years. Same thing over and over again. And then the goddess warrior lineage is a lioness warrior lineage. And by the way, that's very hard to be a warrior in this world today. We can talk about that too. Oh, I just want to grab my sword, but we can't because there's no castle, and it's like,
and all kinds of earthly laws preventing us from, doing things, and they're getting much stricter. And I have wife and kids, and I don't feel like being locked up for life.
It's all these things, yeah, it makes it complicated. But so that was this lineage. And then what I realized, it's this goddess Brigid, or that is in there's many different variations of that name.
Yeah.
But that is that Celtic, warrior lineage, and of the Druids as well. And so that's why, when I have this story, and I thought you would really appreciate it, because maybe you've figured this has happened to you at some point. When I was about 17, I was like, I'm out, like I'm leaving, origin family, because this is somehow just not working for me. And I really had this natural, like a very innate, like the religion that you're imposing on me is so wrong and not true, and it's missing an entire like mother energy, even though I didn't even know those words then. I do now. But this energy was really combated with this innate spirit within me. And I remember someone in my family nastily calling me a pagan, and I looked at this person and said, "Thank you." And basically left, dropped the mic or whatever. I was 7, I don't know. And, but they really, it's just so interesting. Like, I always felt like, you don't know what a druid is. You don't know what a pagan means. Pagans mean they lived in harmony with the earth and all things. I'm sorry, blood sacrifice? No, I remember. Like, people like us, we remember. It's in our DNA. We can't forget the truth, right? And we can see beyond this myopic this nothingness tunnel that people are stuck in, not being able to see the truth with the Catholic, and religious insanity that has like stamped down the truth. And now we're where we are, right? Trying to uncover it all.
well, at the same time, the Catholics, speaking of Bridget, they have adopted so many of our gods and just called them saints and gave them a slightly different backstory. It's kind of like, can I copy your homework? Yeah, sure, but like change it up a little so it doesn't look like you actually copied it.
Yes, and taking that and stamping out all energy of sacred feminine, all energy of mother, all energy of a female, including actually genocidally wiping out women because they, so that too.
Yes. And very effectively so. Unfortunately, I mean, first thing they did was make Mary, make her into a whore.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
There goes that divine feminine aspect. Like, we have like Mary, the mother of Jesus, but her job was basically done when she gave birth to him. It's like, cheers, thank you, bye.
Yeah.
But like, how about the whole raising part? Like, you're quite literally raising a child of God. You're raising the Messiah. Like, parenting isn't hard enough already.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I know that's not our focus today, but it's part of the truth. And this concept of awakening and igniting the primordial magic, this really is, it's happening within us, those of us that are here with the mission. And truly, this has nothing to do, honestly, this has nothing to do with like the Natalie being that's, that story is kind of the catalyst to awaken all of this magic that is coming up within, that honestly, we all have the opportunity, all with the call. We have the opportunity to say yes to this. And this often, goes into this conversation of star seeds and indigos. If anyone has ever gotten into the Law of One work, where, through the raw channelings, the raw social memory complex channelings that came through in decades ago now in the 80s, they actually called that group the Wanderer. There's a group, basically like an overarching group called the Wanderers. So, I mean, there's lots of little names, for really the underlying, the underpinning of it is people here that are called in to speak truth back into this existence. And, we know what's happening to those of us that are speaking these truths, right?
Yeah. We're,
it's fun, isn't it?
We're getting censored. We're getting deplatformed, shadow banned. A good friend of mine and Thane of the tribe, Josh, who is lurking at the moment in chat because he's driving his kid to school from school. But like he checked the numbers like from Twitter and like the clicks and the click-throughs and whatever, and then like at least on YouTube, like the actual views, and it doesn't match. It doesn't match up somehow. Like we're getting less views than we actually have click-throughs.
Right.
Well, I mean, discrepancy of a few. I mean, okay, yeah, it's platform to platform. I get it. A couple of views off, sure, but a couple dozen views off. Something's up with that, and it's not that the link is not working. I'll make sure that they are working.
Yes. Yeah, this is actually so in 2020, I started a platform called Rise Up in Truth as a way to share all of the research that I had been doing for decades, because I really call it the magic awakening within, because this magic is truth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the same concept of, standing strong in this, I am energy that comes from the soul construct, again, not the identity in front of us, right?
Yeah.
And when I started that platform to share all of this, when I started to really speak out in a much more bold way than I had ever before, I don't know how many channels I've had ripped down. But, the joke around our house is like, what am I going to be kicked off this week? I'm like, I don't know. Let's find out. So, like, but,
you have a roulette wheel at home where you're just like, let's spin the wheels.
Spin the wheel.
See where we're going to be blocked today.
Exactly. But, this is why, when we talk about these concepts and, we feel small. It's just that when we feel like we're controlled, when we feel like we can't even, we get disenfranchised. We get tired of having to combat it and that's really the point of it, right? Is to stop us from sharing, because we get too tired, we get exhausted, we get angry, again, because we can't pick up the sword. Really the messages that I always receive from, my team, my spirit team, is the warrior of today is a warrior that speaks truth. So our words are our swords. And when we constantly get our words taken from us, or our platforms, it's like throttling. I mean, I see it happening all the time. It's like throttling the views. So it hits and then you're cut off.
Yeah.
And that really is, it's not fun. It feels very, again, it's exhausting. I think is the only word that keeps coming up, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate not to have been deplatformed just yet.
Yeah.
Guess I should try harder. I mean, you know, nowadays it's a badge of honor if your entire channel gets deleted.
Except you have to restart. It's not that fun.
No, yeah, no, which is quite a bitch. I mean, I've been trying
It
to
is.
grow this channel, which is hard. It's really hard. I mean,
It
I'm getting
is.
compliments left and right about, you know, how fun people think it is and the guests that I have on and the work that I'm doing and all, but it's like
Yeah,
I'm not seeing it in the numbers.
I know.
And I'm not sure if that's because people are just, you know, lurking and not interacting, or, you know, if the platforms are indeed purposefully keeping the numbers low and that, you know, they're actually
It's the second
much
one.
higher. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually, you know, the journey has been an interesting journey because I was in a corporate existence under marketing and advertising for almost 20 years, 17 years before I launched my missions. That was in 2016 when I left.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been in the tech, you know, marketing, that realm. And believe me, what I've seen happen since 2019 is insanity. So I have a frame of reference of 2005 to 2019 to 2023. And we don't have a real internet anymore. So that's just a truth that we need to like really, so getting to the magic is a little bit harder, you know?
Yeah, quite.
Yeah.
You know, and that, like, then you can attach like the dat internet theory to that like, what is it, 80-90% of internet is basically just bots and scripts and algorithms and whatever. You know, you look something up in Google and you get 100 pages, you go to page 2 and all of a sudden there are like 10 pages left. It's like, okay, but what happened to the other 90? Like, do they exist? Don't they exist? And
exactly.
Yeah, like censorship has been outrageous, has been ramping up for sure. And you know, I guess, you know, we're both lucky that we have this inner core, this hardcore group of people who will always support us. So we'll always have that. You know, I always will have the tribe as well.
Yes.
But you know, it would be nice to get that bigger reach. But you know, just I'm gonna keep grinding. I'm gonna keep doing my thing, and I mean, I'm still reaching people, so that's good.
Exactly. I mean, we have to, you know, it's when you're called into a mission, this is a mission. This is a mission for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even if people don't really resonate or know yet about, am I a starseed? You know, am I an indigo? Like, what does this really mean? Well, the way that I have for years now really talked about this is, believe me, if you are being called, and it is a primordial call that comes from within, and you no matter what you do, you cannot make it go away. You are an indigo, or a starseed. You know, you are being called into this army of light. And this army of light is here for this grand awakening of what I'm calling primordial magic, because it's not new. It's what existed before, what I say, the evil beings came into this realm. And people don't like to talk about this because it's like, oh, you know, ooh, what do you mean evil beings? You know, and it's like, well,
what do you mean evil beings? Look around you.
Yeah.
They're not that hard to spot.
No, not at all. To me, I mean, and you know, like, you know, as an empath, I'm a precognitive as well. And so these visions that I've had, you know, I've been taken into some places that, you know, are terrifying. But you come out of that with this knowing, like this black goo concept. Actually, I had this vision of this. And I've had a vision of really the whole, the magic that is written into the code of the original blueprint of this realm has always been here. It's just the way that I look at this is you have this magic, and I call it magic because, I mean, is life not magic? I mean, I don't have to tell myself to breathe. Why is that?
That'd be luckily.
Luckily, that would be quite oh, wait, I'm sorry, I forgot. Like, I should probably breathe now.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to breathe for a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
we have like, hundreds of thousands of operations going on inside of what we call body at any given moment.
Yeah.
And if that isn't magic, then I don't know what is.
Well, it's truly magnificent, the human body, and how it just operates itself, how it takes care of itself, how it renews and heals itself. I mean, if you just look at it like very superficially, I mean, you cut yourself, okay, then the body heals that wound.
Exactly.
Your heart beats and you don't have to consciously think about it. You breathe and you don't have to consciously think about it. Your organs work and you don't have to consciously think about it. It's all self-regulated. That's pretty damn amazing.
It is. It's
and it all works. I mean, for some people it works, a little less well than others, but just in general, it works.
Yes. Like there's this foundational level, and then we have to think about, every morning, the birds, the sun, like this all, I mean, even if it's overcast, like it just is on this natural, organic rhythm. And if we really just tap into that field of intelligence, and we really think about what that really truly is, this is the magic that's really awakening in many of us, realizing that it's not new. This isn't something that's coming in that's just never been here before. It's just reclaiming it. It's really a reclamation mission, right? Yeah. That comes in, and now we have to speak it into existence.
Yeah. And this too, what Zaralath is saying, but under special circumstances, like you can consciously change your heartbeat, you can consciously change your breathing, you can consciously alter the system, if you will.
Right.
Which
and
is
therein lies the power.
Yeah, which is another amazing thing. Like you can just like focus on something and change it just by will, which is the most powerful form of magic there is. You're literally willing it into existence.
Exactly. Yeah, I was really looking into this this formula of magic, and what has come through for me is, so we're connecting into higher selves. People call this many things, but on a basic level, right? This cosmic higher self construct, soul, whatever. And when we wrap our intentions and our emotions in, and when we align those, this creates our thoughts. And then when we align that into the words that we're speaking, we align that into the actions that we take in the world, then we back this all by this, solar plexus, this womb, this Hera, we back it with the power center. Will and determination live in that center. Then that's magic. That is the manifestation. That is really the code that our universe is speaking. And if we can start speaking that same language, that is how we can manifest all the faster. This is why I feel like I'm on this mission to really light the fire for other people that are being called into these missions. Because again, imagine if every single soul that's here for a very light truth mission ignites it and makes it happen, imagine what that does to this reality. It crumbles this old patriarchal, horrific, suffering, endless, just disgustingness, the goo. It takes that down faster. So I just, and lately, you know, this energy has been speaking to me, and like a quickening. It's like, come on, let's go, guys, come on, let's, okay, you know, and it's like we have to really ignite this. We have to really feel into what this magic is that we're feeling that's coming inside, you know, the questioning. You know, I know a lot of people are having all of these questions of, all right, you know, I keep getting this word starseed, or I keep getting this word indigo, or it keeps coming up. It's in over here. It's over here. Somebody else talked about it, you know, or, you know, they're being, it's like all of these things are bringing information to bring into people's awareness, so that humans can really claim that larger divinity, because humans are divine. Period. Divine, magnificent beings. And, you know, we have been told otherwise, shown otherwise, and continuously get treated as if we're otherwise. But that is false. That is the false matrix. And it really begins when we say no to the old and start saying yes to this new that's coming in.
Which is happening more and more. Like we talk about it a lot here on the podcast, on the channel, about the what we have coined the pagan revival. You know, a lot of people finding the old gods, or I guess the old gods finding them again, or, you know, just realizing that, hey, it's not working like this. You know, we've been told this is all there is, you know, physical pleasure and whatever, it's all there is.
Right.
But it's not enough.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm getting my pleasures in, I'm getting, you know, some satisfaction here and there, but there has to be more. It can't just be it. And that's when people start looking, and, you know, that's when they find terms like indigo children, star seeds, when they find you know, they find information, especially, you know, those of European descent, they find the information about the old gods, and they're like, yeah, okay, this, I want to do this. I want to learn more about this. This feels right. And especially with, you know, the whole warrior aspect, like that is basically what European paganism, especially Northern European paganism, Scandinavian, Germanic, is about. Like, they are the warrior gods. It is a warrior culture. That also has to do with the environment, because, you know, it gets quite cold and quite harsh here. So we had to learn how to survive. We had to learn how to combat nature, or use nature to our advantage, use the gods to our advantage, so that we may progress ourselves, so that we, you know, like, even just the most basic things, like we can stay alive, we stay warm, food in our bellies and all.
Right.
And that's, you know, the whole warrior aspect. That's what attracted me to paganism. That's how I found my gods. It's like, yeah, I've always had to fight. I've always had to struggle. Life was always a struggle. I mean, I've had a good upbringing, you know. Mom and dad are still together. One of very, very few, actually. Divorce rates are insane.
Yes.
Yes,
but, they are.
You know, I never really had to complain about anything. Always had a, you know, roof over my head, clothes on my back, food in the fridge or in my belly, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
The basic things I was taken care of, but I wanted more. I wanted more freedom, like, still, you know, like, mentally and all. It was still a struggle, and I couldn't find anything to hold on to. I couldn't find, at least in my early years, couldn't find anything or someone that, like, was really helping me. Of course, they'll send you to psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, whatever, and they'll just, sit you down on the chair and be like, so is there anything that you are proud of? And here's a prescription for some pills.
Yes. Right.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, that shit still doesn't help.
No.
I'm still dealing with the same shit. It's
Yes.
just now I'm feeling it less because I've been numbed.
Right.
Right. And then, eventually I found the gods, or the gods found me, however you want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, ever since then, I, feel like I found my purpose, that I found my purpose in life. I know what I want to do. I have found that higher calling.
Right.
Yeah, it really is. It really is big. It's grand. It's, well, enlightening. Yeah, because like now it is quite literally a whole new world that opens up for you, and you're like, so there is more.
Right. Right. A lot more. Yeah. And it's when you say yes to going against the grain, that, against belief systems of others, against, what mainstream says is okay, and what, I mean, you even go into research on, this internet land stuff that's been hijacked. And truthfully, you're never going to, again, you go into what people think Druids are. Every single time I comment, whenever I find something, I'm like, wrong, like wrong. You have no clue what you're talking about because you don't remember. Right. And so when you feel this energy coming up within you, this, like how would you ever, it's like you said, it's these energies that find you, that really bring you through. I mean, it could be through dreams, it can be through visions, it can be through meditation, it can be through, a million different things. But once it comes onto your path, it's like the way that I found out that I was part of, in the earth bloodline, what my construct is connecting into is the Celtic Druid Magi Grail line. And that lineage is part of the keepers of wisdom for what has been called like this cosmic Christos Sophia energy, which is literally just the sacred divine feminine energy. It's this wisdom around the truth of this female energy. Now that goes against everything that most people think a Celtic Druid lineage would, and then it gives you a different framework on this word warrior too, because warriors, I've looked up, I've really went back into, because you have to go into ancient languages to be able to Gaelic, to Aramaic, because Gaelic is just a form of Aramaic. You go into into ancient Hebrew, you go into Sanskrit, right? So ancient languages, there's more truth in these. And when you go back, what I was doing is finding all this research on, a reason, our souls are lineages of warriors in the sense that like the Celtic Druid lineage, which actually is very Norse, very integrated into all of this, because they were called Galati, and Galati were these humans that were so courageous, so strong, so powerful, both metaphysically and physically, that they were seen as wisdom keepers in their lineage. And so they weren't warriors to war. They were warriors to protect their homeland.
Yeah.
Protecting a homeland and protecting your community is far different than what we call a warrior today. A warrior today goes and makes war on somebody, or, takes out a whole, entire faction of people. That is genocide. And that is actually what pagans faced, is a pure and utter purposeful genocidal maniac, just getting rid of them all. And so what happens is the winners rewrite his story, which I don't even say that word anymore. I've now rewritten it as our story, because I don't want it, we need to know her story, but it's our story. Like, how do we connect? Truly, the magic is this hierogamic union of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine energies. We're harmonizing that within our own beings so that we can start to like reintegrate that into this realm, because that's what this realm needs, is harmony of the dual energies, not another, it's like we always swing that pendulum. It's always been this patriarchy about male, but it's way more than, patriarchy is far beyond just that. But if we swing it over into matriarchy, well, aren't we doing the same thing? Right? We need to, like, no more swinging. Like, we need to come here in the middle and meet in the middle. That's the other mission that I'm really, really feeling into, because that is actually the Grail is this original coding of DNA, which was a 12-strand DNA versus 10-strand. And so if we open up this truth of the DNA and the 12 strands, and what that carries is information, right? It's basically like record keeping. It's really the Akashic records.
I was just going to say the original Akashic records.
Yeah, exactly. And so as more of us, like, we hear these things, we feel them within us, we start speaking it into existence. It's really important, because someone else may be listening to the podcast going, oh my God, I heard that too. Is that true? I'm okay. Well, now they can be sent on their own discovery pathway. It's just, it's fascinating what happens when you
planting seeds, right?
Totally. Yeah.
And what did you say those druids were called again?
The Celtic druid Magi Grail lineage.
And the Galati, what was it?
Oh, the Galati. Yeah, the warriors. Yeah.
Makes me, because my mind goes to Galatians, like we know it from the Bible, for example.
Yes.
And makes me wonder if there's of course inverted.
But yes, because they stole that information and twisted it in some, but Yep.
Awesome. I knew it. Yeah.
Yes.
No, because I'm getting so much better to like making those kinds of connections. Yeah. And like also very much thanks to the podcast and all the guests that I have had on for the, I want to say, last year and a half, like almost year that I've been doing it like really hardcore. It was last year in October that I really kicked it off with the Ragnarok series, and from there I've been taking it like quite seriously. And in that year, like I've mentioned it on the podcast so many times before, but I'm gonna keep saying it, I have learned more in this year and a half of podcasting about the world, about how this world works, this dimension, other dimensions, higher, lower, next door to us, whatever, than I have in what's it going to be, 12 years, 14 years of school.
Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, I mean, we actually spoke about that the other day in the tribe. Like, school, it's good to teach you the basics, to to read, to write, and calculus is handy. Learning some new languages never hurts, or learning to speak and read and write your own language better doesn't hurt. All the other stuff, it really depends, and they're also expecting from you that by the time that you're 15 years old, that you want to do what you want, that what you want to do for the rest of your life. I mean, like I'm 31 years old, and I'm still like, I just recently started something new. Why? Because I didn't want to do the thing that I was doing.
Yes.
I've been a cook for 10 years, mainly because it's just something that came on my path. It was either go be a cook or just do unskilled labor. And I wasn't about to do that. I was like, well, at least I learned a trade, so I guess I'll do that.
Yeah.
Did that for 10 years. And, after that, I was like, I'm tired of this. I want to do something new. So now I'm in security. It's
Right. Yep.
totally different worlds. Same kind of people, though. I gotta admit, like the people that you find in the kitchen, you will find them in security as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's the same kind of attitude. Like you really have to be firm, and you.
That's for sure.
I mean, I've in my in the short time that I've been doing security now, I've already met people that didn't agree with me, didn't agree with the things that I was saying or that I told them to do. Haven't found anyone or haven't run into anyone who was violent, luckily. But it does happen. But that's also what we get training for. It's the uniform they're angry against, not you.
Yeah, right.
Which
exactly.
also, which is funny because that also, like, you can also take that at a physical level. It's the avatar that you're angry at, not the soul behind the avatar. It's the physical world, the shallow part that you're mad of that doesn't work. If you go deeper, it does work, but can use some reconnecting.
Recalibration. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of that's that's the other element to this. I mean, again, just the, like you mentioned in the beginning, it's a lot. When I come out and say I'm a descendant of the Emerald Order, an original, I tell, and some people are just going to glaze over and be like, what in the hell is this woman talking? She's insane. But it's like standing in that's the other element to warrior, is standing in that truth, standing in that knowing, standing in that power, and being able to, because that's the essence of the avatar, as you actually said, the construct that we hold. And that's so imperative, no matter what we're doing, just standing in that truth is an act of mission. Right. So I also think that there's a lot of people, that are, they're not doing something they love. Well, it's like, well, like you're building this entire, podcast, and there's so many ways to enact, to take action and do the thing that you're being called to do. And, there's I think a lot of people just, this world is really created to keep us locked into our root chakra, because if we have to, just to survive, we have to pay just to live in a place. Like, there's, what
we have to pay money to people who don't own anything. I mean, they own stuff, but they buy that with the money that we give them.
Yes. Well, and like Rockefeller said, own nothing, control everything. And he's, one of, I think, I would say one of the main, evils from a familial bloodline. Like,
no, they definitely have their fingers in a lot of
most things.
Pots.
I could go on for days on that.
Or the newest one being the WEF. You'll own nothing and be happy.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not so sure about that, but what they're actually saying is that you will own nothing and we will make sure that you are happy about it.
Yeah, because you'll have no choice, peons. Is basically what they're saying. Yeah, it's awful. Awful. Truly.
They haven't really come out and said that yet. They haven't quite literally called us peons yet.
But they have. They have. But not the exact peons word. Yeah, I'll have to. Yeah. There's this one person in that organization, and I never remember his name, Noah something, I think. The words that he says are
that spokesperson, like we don't need all the people here on the planet or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's a second,
the second in command.
Second in command.
I know who you mean. Yeah.
There's one talk.
That guy's even more disturbing.
Oh, it's just, the crazy thing is it's all right here. It's all there. And it's what's interesting to me is that you can hear the words that when I hear, I know exactly what he's saying. And when somebody else hears, they may not even hear it at all. And this is actually part of like the schooling part that you were talking about, right? It's this indoctrination of, this, it's like people can't, it's the same with magic. People have been taught that this primordial concept of magic, that it's like, now it's layered in. Now, don't get me wrong. I do love the Harry Potter movies, seriously, but it's magic, it's not about shooting, like twinkle sparkles from a wand or from our fingertips,
and quite literal death rays.
Yeah. It's like, the entrainment of entertainment creates, this facade of what is truth. And therefore just again, it really stifles the real truth that magic does exist. And that, again, people are so afraid of even the word magic. I spell it with a CK, and I've heard people come to me and say, "Oh, why do you spell it that way? Aleister Crowley spelled it that way." And I was like, okay, first of all, let's get back to the basis, like the basis of the basics too of magic. Like, people have been taught to fear symbols as if, they care, it's like a lot of like, even like, Norse mythology, you have the Celtic mythology, you have, the symbology from Druids, you have whales, you have all these symbols, and they've been taken and inverted. And so now people are afraid of the pentagram. And I'm like, no. The pentagram is a symbol, but the pentagram is not evil. Now, if you invert it and you change it, like, these evil,
then it gives it a new meaning. But,
right.
It's indeed the pentagram, which is like basically the oldest symbol there is, the 5 essences, the 4 worldly, and then, the spirit essence.
Right.
It's actually the cross, you could say, that is really like the bad symbol, because that's just like, even if we go by, he was an actual physical person, Christ, I'm still kind of debating on that. Like, out of all things, why would you wear a cross? Like, if let's say my father gets fucking like quite literally hammered and doesn't make it, I'm not gonna wear. I mean, I'm wearing a hammer. It's a different hammer.
Yes.
But like, I'm not gonna wear a hammer in remembrance of my father. Like, why would I wear the one thing that brought him to such a cruel end? It doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
But when the pentagram is literally when the pentagram is literally like, it is of this world, and the next one, it's literally pointing up.
Yeah. Yes. And I mean, it goes into, it's really a framework of the original creation blueprint, which, these are part of the memories that I'm carrying in my DNA that keep coming through, and it's really fascinating, because it's like, when you share information like this, you're either going to get a stark agreement, or you're going to get a stark reaction of oh no, that's evil. Oh, you're so, and this is exactly what's wrong in this realm is you have far too many people that are still, unfortunately, and very sadly, still very much under the indoctrination of the real evil, which has been these false, false god religions that have brought down genocides. Obviously, many of us are carrying ancestral woundings that isn't DNA for, the witch hunt. That wasn't just women. That was men too. Anybody that was a healer
Yeah.
got wiped out. And so, this is why it just makes, so really the point that I want to make is that truly when we're speaking these words, they are frequencies, and it resonates with those that have that same energy and connecting into those same fields. And this really helps the awakening more, because it's like we're dropping them into, this grand awakening ocean. And every time it ripples more and touches more people to awaken to that within them. And it's really, really imperative to own that, and not to be afraid, because indigos, for example, have been, even star seeds, have been coming into this realm for about over 100 years now. Mm-hmm. And so the reason why is we're preparing for this time, preparing to be the army of light, to be the warriors of today, which are speaking with our words, our swords of truth, truly, because a word really is more powerful than anything else today, because that is exactly what they're trying to take away, is truth through words, right? It's an attack on so many levels and layers, but that is one really foundational one, because you even see it happening in the schools today. They're trying to rewrite his story yet again to facilitate yet another agenda or narrative, right? So and we have an opportunity right now for all of us to stand up and say, no more. We're done. We're exiting this matrix. And it really starts by just saying no to what was and saying yes to this new, this new, grander, more beautiful magic that is truly awakening within so many of us.
I've seen that idea come by quite a lot, that like these may be the darkest times. This is call it Ragnarok, call it the Kali Yuga,
right?
Right. But these are the perfect times to reach illumination, because it is so dark. So every bit of light, every speck of light is much more visible to everyone else. Which unfortunately also makes you a prime target. But that's where the warrior aspect comes in. That's where the defender comes in again. You have to, quite literally, fight for what is right, and indeed speak your truth, and do it in like every way you can, every way you can imagine. A podcast, a blog, write something. I guess the pen indeed is mightier than the sword.
It is. It's fascinating too, because what happens is when you say yes, just when you accept the truth of like, oh my God, I am a starseed. Now, there's differences between starseeds and indigos, like different missions, different soul family tribes. That's like whole conversations within themselves. But once you, kind of connect into these cosmic lineages, these earth bloodlines that you're a part of, that you feel very called into, just by saying yes to that, even that, what happens is all these new opportunities. It's like every time that you take a step, more door, it's just more, it's kind of like in a game, like, when you're in a map in a game, and you can't really see the whole, like Zelda, for example. You can't see the whole world yet,
Yeah.
but when you unlock something like a whole new area of the world opens up, that's kind of the way that I see this. Just the energy of saying yes does that. Like you start illuminating more of the map.
Yeah. And
That's
you're going into the
gaming
yeah,
reference.
you're going into the right direction when you find enemies on your path.
Right.
It's
Yes.
it's also something I have heard a lot.
Yes.
And it's true.
It
It's
is.
true. I
It's
mean,
sad that it's true, but it's okay because we're pioneers.
yeah.
We have to really think about it. Regardless, again, we're spanning lots of generations. I'm in my mid 40s now. And I know people in their 50s, 60s, 30s, 20s. So we're spanning all of these generations now. And those that are saying yes to the mission, that's the beauty of it, is that we're spanning all these different age ranges so that we can speak to those that resonate, in that sphere.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful part of this grandiose plan to reawaken the divinity within.
Yeah. And I must say, like, it's also becoming easier to spot the new generations, to see like the little witchlings, the witches in the making, or
Yeah.
the little
love it.
boys that you're like, yeah, you're gonna get there. You're gonna get
Yeah.
there. Like just the other day, I was working at an event, high school event actually, and I saw this girl. She couldn't be older than 14, walking around, and I was, the way she was dressed and the way she was holding herself, I was like, yeah, that's a little witchling. That's a little witch in the making. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
And I mean, then I got like my own kids. Of course, my daughter is very much daddy's princess, but does have that just huge amount of love, and is a little witchling. She does find it interesting. And my son's middle name is literally Caden, which means warrior, so
That's awesome.
I literally have named him Warrior.
Love that.
And he's a little mini me, which is challenging. Sometimes when I see him do stuff, or hear things from his mother that he has done now, I'm like,
like, oh yeah,
okay, that
I did that too.
That's on me. And then I go to my parents and I'm like, I am so sorry. I understand now.
Oh, they were waiting so long for you to say that.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it is. And what I think is so beautiful. So, we chose to not have the human kind of children. We have lots of fur babies. That's our thing. Ever since I was young, I'm a, part of that lineage is a protector. So every animal on this planet is like my baby. That's the way I feel. And I've always felt that way. I was the little kid that was saving little bunnies and nursing them back to health. And now I'm a master herbalist in training as well. So that's, that I'm bringing this full circle, right? This is how this works. But, one thing that I've noticed that, in the awakening community, those that are really striving for healing and consciousness, to accept to awaken the magic, to really bring in their truth, and to spark that in their own children, not teaching their children how to be, but teaching them how to question who they are. And this is the beautiful thing that's a part of this grander awakening, which truly is also part of the magic, because these children are not going to be raised with this heavy veil over them of the heaviness of these untruths and these horrible things that many of us had to like, I can't breathe, we have to come out from underneath this, and it's heavy and it's a lot. I mean, I have dealt with a lot of, loving myself so much, it inverted into almost this hate because I was like anorexic, and when I was in high school, and just this really awful relationship with what is this human construct, and that is all because society faces you with something that's not, there's again, false reality, superficial reality, materialism, greed, you could go into, it's like lately I've been thinking about what they call the 7 deadly sins. I'm like, those aren't sins. Those are the fucking traps. Sorry, in this world. I didn't ask if I could cuss, but I do that sometimes.
No, it's fine. Just, cuss however much you like. I'm shadow banned anyway, so it doesn't matter.
We can maybe, yeah. So yeah, it's that part to me is so crazy of you really think those are the traps. Those are the ways in which we've been, it's just layers of stuff, especially the vanity and you see the people who have these platforms that, man, if they could just use those platforms to speak the truth, it would change the game, instead of working through their identity, which is this egoic construct that's not the point. It's like, no, use your platform to talk about the real truth,
but then you have to be careful as well, because there are still many false prophets or people who will who will say they are on your side and like kind of touch on the right things, but like, again, keep it very, very superficial. Joe Rogan is one that is like has this huge platform, just millions and millions of people who listen to him weekly. Has all these amazing guests on who do speak a lot of truth, and may just be their personal truth, but truth nonetheless. But still goes too much into the superficial realm, into the conspiracy realm, which is, you could say that's another trap nowadays, with how many like just false agents, Agent Smith, there is in, or with the latest one, Russell Brands, who I don't trust for as far as I can throw him, and he's a skinny motherfucker, so I can probably throw him quite a bit.
Speaking of warrior.
I got this. Yeah. No, but and now there, all kinds of allegations are coming out against him.
Oh, really?
Which, like the basic Me Too stuff, like women came forward and it's like, oh, he did this to me, and I can't believe that's not shocking. Me Too like basic, like the basic Me Too shit, nothing special.
The normal. It's always
yeah. It's become the new normal, right? But there are already so many people who are like, have you looked at the guy and who he's dating and who he's connected with and whatever? He's not on our side.
Exactly. Yeah, there are some big there's a lot of interesting information that has come into my awareness, even like around not that I ever, politics. I can't believe we're still talking about this stuff in the United States. It's like, it's absolutely ridiculous as to, how could you ever think that a patriarchal, you have to be a millionaire, billionaire to run in a presidential office would actually ever be like on your side? Like, this is insane to me.
As it really should to everybody else, but
oh man, but not that way. It's like
But
people really think they're saviors or something.
yeah, but don't worry, Trump is different because he wasn't a politician. No, but he's a TV personality. He's still
He's
you
in
know
19 yeah, he's in 80s, like he was in Home Alone. I mean, at this point, who
yeah,
hasn't seen that movie? I mean, it's insane how even that's been painted in this picture of, the same concept that you were talking about before, which is the construct of Jesus, and Yeshua, really. Let's, saying the real names of people with real missions at a time that got inverted. This is the same thing that we're seeing play out in front of us today. And there's new information on RFK who's running here, and there's this independent candidate that's running, and I mean the stories that he has about this person in the past and the truth of how he's playing both sides. This is what we're seeing every day, is this playing of both sides, false prophets. Like for me, for those of us again that feel this, this warrior energy, one of the indigo lineages is really about this warrior, like this standing up, which may resonate with a lot of your listeners. But it's that energy of being able to discern, like in your body, what truth is. Like because that is where we become, I mean, that is the intuitive engine that every human has within them. It's the innate gift that's just there that everyone needs to be in touch with again, especially now, so that you don't get pulled down these, these fear-mongering savior victim, traps. And we keep on this straightaway of harmonizing the energies again. Because if we stay in that, and that's how we start breaking out of this matrix, this false, imprisoned system that was built on top of the original creation.
Yeah,
is how I see that.
It's definitely, and I mean, I'm Dutch, I'm European. Like we don't really do politics. We don't really care.
It's very different. Yeah.
Yeah. I always say like we're a sober folk. It's like, okay, sure, whatever, man. I'll just like whatever party seems the nicest. I'm not gonna do like deep research and go to rallies and be like, oh my god, you're my hero. We don't really do that. And like even if there are people who do that, we'll just look at them kind of with a side eye, like, you okay?
You really think so? Okay. Yeah, it's bizarre that people that's kind of where it really starts, is just saying no to that energy. Because what happens, this is I think the biggest warrior energy that we can carry, the biggest magic that we can step into, is that word frequency of no. Because if we all said, for example, no, none of us are voting anymore. No, we're not all not going to do that anymore. Literally, what if no one no one voted? No one. What would happen? Well, they would start crumbling. The whole system would just fall away.
Yeah.
But getting everyone to agree on this simple foundation that government is not here to help you, keep you safe. Obviously it's going to be a lot harder. But even if we just got a large percentage, that's when things start to change, and it's peaceful because all you're doing is being like, no.
Yeah, like you're just taking your hands off it, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even if it's just like a trickle down effect. Like once somebody stops voting, and two other people see that and are like, you know what? It doesn't make any sense to vote. Like nothing changes. You know what? I'm stopping too. Then one becomes two becomes four, etc., etc. And
that's it.
That's how we have to try and build it, you know, slow and steady wins the race. And
Yep.
no, the government isn't here to help you. Those are some of the scariest words in history. When someone comes up and tells you, I'm from the government, I'm here to help you, I got a tip: run.
Yeah, very, very fast.
Yeah,
As fast as you
and
possibly
bar.
you know, and it's really sad because I know that a lot of people, you know, that's the crazy thing. Many of us are called this energy of, let's just say, a healer, right? We want to help. And then we get stuck, then people join these things thinking under the guise that that is an organization or that is a whatever that is there to be of assistance, to help people. And then it ends up being the exact opposite of what, I mean, complete opposite of what these people. So now these people are in this system going, oh my God, how did I get here? You know, and then, I mean, and you can just see how this creates this cycle of,
Yeah.
It's sad because I do know that everyone going into these places actually think they can create the change that they want to through those outlets. And that just, unfortunately, from my lens, from what I've seen, because I had a whole vision and I wrote it in my Rise Up in Truth about the whole change of leadership. It's called the Guardian. It's now become the Guardian. You know, the Guardian founder races are coming back through us, you know, the representatives to be here to start building those new ways. And in that breaking down process, you know, it's just, it's like these rose-colored glasses that so many people are carrying are going to be ripped off of them very violently. And it's going to be very difficult for many to see the truth of what's really going on, when many of us, you know, for decades, for however long, have been sitting here and going, I know.
Yeah.
Told you. I won't say I told you so, but I'm gonna think it.
I'll flat out.
I'll probably say it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Like, I want to say it, you know?
No, but I mean, that's, you know, those new constructions. I mean, that is one of the reasons why I found the tribe, why I created the tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans. Like, first of all, you know, as a place to study and learn about our ancestors, learn about our heritage, learn about our gods. But, you know, slowly over time, it also just became a place to connect with other people, to, you know, just have fun. Like, it doesn't always have to be about religion or spirituality or the gods or whatever.
Right.
It can also just be, hey guys, you know, I had a shitty day. Can I get some vibes? Sure. Or, you know, hey guys, I had an amazing day. Can I talk about it? Yeah, go right ahead. You know, that's also what we're here for. And
it is,
you know, together with our Thane Joshua, like we have really been trying to get it into the real world as well. I mean, we're making waves, but they're not making it easy on us, on purpose, of course.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
yeah.
I mean, boy, if only they would make it easy on us.
You know, I know, and it gets very disheartening. Because again, you know, I'm not going to censor myself. And, you know, that the energy of this year has been really about, oh, no. You say exactly, you know, be bold, stand, you know, that energy of like, no more censorship, no more worrying about any of these things, and just kind of trying to do what you can do with what you have. Yeah. And, you know, the great thing is there are platforms that are coming online that are like saying no, like Unite Live is one of them. Unite.live, I should say. That is a new platform that's literally was created as the antithesis to all these other mainstream platforms, i.e. what we're, you know, YT, to basically say, we say no, we're just going to build this over here. Now, obviously, how do you get people over there? That's the other challenge, you know?
I'd say that's the biggest challenge, because, you know, platforms like YouTube, like Facebook, like Twitter, they are so established. They are the online town square, if you will. It's where you go to, like, quite literally meet people, watch your cat videos and whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you get those people to the other platforms? Like, I myself and with the tribe, we're on a couple other platforms as well. Minds is a good social media alternative platform,
Hmm.
which is getting a lot of praise and all, but not many people know about it. I mean, a lot of well, it's actually over the years it's been slowing down a little, but every time Twitter has gone on another ban wave, they all flock to Minds, and then a lot will stay there because it's like, hey, this is pretty chill. Actually, I can say whatever I want, and I'm not gonna get blocked or banned or shadow
Yeah.
banned or whatever, because they don't do that over there. And with the video platforms, I mean, Rumble is of course a good one,
Yeah.
making
Rumble's great. Yeah.
making making waves too, of course, now, especially with you see with the whole slug fighting thing being on there. That was a good haul for them. That was a good catch.
Yeah.
And Odyssey is another
Hmm.
great one that I personally
Yeah.
love to use, and
And
would love.
Brighteon. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like I would love to see more creators on there, like more of the bigger, well, YouTubers, basically, on those alternative platforms as well, and they're coming, bit by bit.
Yeah.
Um, so that's great, because, like, no offense, then I can unsubscribe on YouTube and subscribe on Odyssey. I much rather do that, much rather subscribe on the alternative platforms and give you an audience there as well than,
Exactly.
you know,
And these
but
days, what we're having to do with our businesses is we're posting to 20 different places.
yeah,
And that alone creates just, I mean, so, now your team is spending time, or you are spending time doing all these, extra things just to get the message out. And that takes away time. That in and
yeah,
of itself creates this, like, oh my God, knowing what else could be done in this time, having to do all this stuff.
yeah. I have to share it here and here and here, and oh yeah, like those alternatives as well, because like there it's not going to get the reach, and there it's going to get blocked, and there it's going to get shadow bans, and like
Exactly.
what is left?
Exactly. Yeah, it's quite, it's crazy. My recent, story about this is I've stayed away from TikTok for all the reasons. Um, it's just I'm like no, but then I had a dream, and in the dream it showed me, think right now, think of you create your little sacred space,
Mhm.
and all this insanity is happening around you, but you're creating your sacred space. So you be your creator, and you kind of do what you're doing, and let all that, and for me it was more so, I don't even want to be affiliated with this. What I know is really evil. It's just twisted stuff, that,
Yeah,
it's things that I can't morally support. But it showed me, you're creating your sacred space, and I was like, okay, I'll try it. Well, interestingly, I put up a video about the true 12 tree grid. So the tree of life, right,
mhm.
has always been shown as a 10. 10, and that's what you'll find in Kabbalah and things of this nature.
Yeah,
Well, unfortunately, that isn't the truth. That is a false narrative. It's actually a 12 tree grid, because it's linked into the 12 original creation, 12 strands of
the
DNA,
the 12 zodiacs.
and layers into dimensions, and how
Yeah,
consciously we're connected into every dimension right now, like literally as we're sitting here. Like, that's the beauty of our construct.
mhm.
And I put a video on that on TikTok about that. They would not approve it. It was under review forever. So I created another one and put another one up, just with a different, like, title. That one was delayed. Finally, that one, I was like, this is magical stuff. I'm not even talking about any. So this also goes to show us that even the magic that we're talking about, like when you're empowering people to know the truth of like how our bodies actually work, what it really is, that we are multidimensional at all times, why are they blocking that? Like, so it's just the truth in all ways that they don't want people to know about. And that to me, that is like, it's so a lot of soul family tribes that came in, especially in many of the indigo family tribes, you're coming in almost like on a recon mission. Recon meaning you're testing. You're just like, how far can we go? Like what? And you're getting like information on this evil empire, right? And how they're operating and where they're stamping out the truth. And it's kind of like we're the ones gathering all this information in all these places of how they're stamping out the truth. And in simple things like that, just putting a TikTok video about the 12 tree grid, you won't even allow that. Yeah. Oh my God. Like that to me, that was like another layer of, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's truth in every direction, up, down, left, right, that you're not supposed to know, and that gets twisted and whatever. Like I remember sitting in biology class and they're explaining to me, this is a man, this is a woman, and now we're questioning what like the basic genders are, and is there such thing as a gender at all, or like, and if there is not, then how can it be affirmed, and like how can you change it? Can you change it? Like, why are we asking those questions? Like, are we seriously that dumbed down now? Have they dug their claws so deep into us that we're even losing sight of basic biology? Like,
I know these questions are real, and real because they're but the way I always see this is, so the most basic thing of of tyranny, of control, is divide and conquer. Yes. Right? Big war strategy, and we are in a war, and I don't think people want to talk about that either. Thankfully you do. This is a war for our consciousness, including the consciousness of our earth, which I call Gaia. Period. And if we could just know that means on the very basic level, they're gonna make people question enough, because really think about it. If we think about this whole questioning of gender, even it gets into the construct of soul. Well, do souls have gender? You're light. So, but they're going to twist that and invert it, and then distort it, and then create now so much disharmony. We can't even have a conversation without worrying about the words that we're saying as far as gender. Like, what?
Yeah. Like now we're getting attacked over that. Now we're getting censored over that. It's just divide and conquer. It's it's an age-old strategy, but it's it's age-old for a reason. It's because it
pretty
works.
Sound. It does. It obviously it does.
Yeah.
But not to most of us. See, that's the beauty. Again, we realize, regardless, whatever indigo tribe, how you came into this world, and what indigo mission, and what starseed, mission, and what, wanderer, and what rainbow warrior, which is a whole prophecy, which is all of these beings coming in, with an avatar construct and whatever. That all almost doesn't even matter as much as this truth that we are here. All of us that are speaking this are the warriors, are the ones that are here awakening the magic, that are here to speak the truth. And our grand mission is to peel away these these horrific energies that have stifled far too many humans for too long.
Yeah.
And that, it seems like a really big mission, and it is. And it is. But
And it's a hard one at that.
It's hard. But
so
think of that
incredibly
Galactic
necessary.
word. Yeah. Because if we have the fortitude, imagine, to keep going in this construct, think about how cosmically powerful your soul is and why you were chosen to do the thing, right? It's because of that. It's the literal makeup and the fabric of your soul that is that, that strength, is that courage, is that valor. And we're pulling in our ancestral bloodlines. My bloodlines all connect into Scotland and Ireland and Norway and Germanic and all of the whole region. Viking, it's all there. And my brother is also he's awakened to all this too. And when you awaken to that, it's just that allows that kind of is where we draw our strength from, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, to be alive in this age, in this dark age, in this Kali Yuga, you are pretty much forced to be a warrior. You are forced to fight whether you like it or not. You can't just, and that's the thing in especially the New Age community, which has adopted and perverted a lot, unfortunately. They just disassociate.
Exactly.
It's like, we're not gonna fight this world. We are simply not going to participate, because we're taking away the energy and then it'll all go away.
I wish that were true. I wish.
Oh God, that would be,
wouldn't it be nice?
Oh, that would be so easy. I just delete all my social media, sell my TV, sell my laptop, and be like, peace.
Exactly. But again, see, this is the soul tribe, that you're very connected into. That that's not the truth. In fact, I was just having a conversation earlier about this with a client. So many just work. And when we're looking at our chakra system, right, there's way more than 7. There's actually 8, even in the body. The sacred heart is the thymus chakra, heart behind the heart, right? But there's more than that. But let's just take those 8, or even the 7, right? Most people are working from here up. So they're trying to just always stay in this love light thing. That is the New Age, the toxic spirituality, the toxic positivity, as I call it. And then, you have those of us that are working from all channels, because actually every human is a channel. I hope everyone can know that. But, when we are grounded and we're, anchored into this being that we call Earth, we're anchored into the energies of truth. We're anchored into the energies that there is an evil, that there is a spiritual consciousness battle. That is anchoring us into the real reality, so that we can see the truth. But this working up into these realms, that is so unhelpful. And it's actually what helped get us here where we are today. Because if more people could have not said, I'm just love and light and my name is Rainbow Star Kitten, whatever, if that wouldn't have happened, we wouldn't be in such a bad place. But it was kind of that movement, right? I mean, you could even go into the hippie movement, which, by the way, of course, peace over war, love over war, all that's great. But where was the action after that? That's what's been missing, is this action of really helping to break apart these untruths, this falsity, that we are now seeing very, very clearly.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I have tried the whole love and light thing, because I've been in some dark places in the past. I just got sick of that, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna ignore all of that. I'm gonna choose to be happy. I'm gonna choose to be light, which just cost me so much energy. It was so incredibly tiring. And then, eventually the walls came crumbling down and everything that I ignored was like, charge.
You mean
it all, it
Stein
all
did it
came.
not go away? It didn't go
No,
away? Oh.
no, it all came back actually.
With a vengeance.
They were just, sitting there behind the wall, patiently waiting, like, yeah, it's cool. Well, we have patience, we'll just sit here and wait. Oh, there's a hole in the wall. Okay.
We're going in.
Yeah, and then it all came rushing back, and I was like, okay, fuck, this isn't working either. I guess I, really have to deal with my problems. Dang it.
I know. It's and that is the other thing about this huge paradigm shift of consciousness is everyone's being asked to go deeper, to go more expansive, to heal all these things within you that you thought maybe you healed. That I'm thinking, no, maybe there's more. There's some more blockages in there, gotta keep going.
Yeah.
To heal the body, to detox, purify, cleanse. And, the way that I've seen this whole thing play out, which is fascinating, when all these codes started being awakened within me in 2016, when I launched my mission and when I said yes, it all started like flooding in and making more sense than ever before. But, one thing that we're seeing even from 2020 here forward with the celestial changes, massive celestial changes and shifts, what we're also seeing is what we call Earth shifting greatly. And what I see it as, like you see all the volcanic action and all this earthquake action. The way I see it is a lot, and it is going to get more rampant. Not the man-made kind, but the actual Earth shift kind.
The actual ones, okay.
The natural, organic happenings, yes. Have to be clear on these delineations now. They're going to happen more and more because what I see is it's like, in the master herbalism and in the work of detoxing, what happens is we go through what is called a Herxheimer reaction, or very generally speaking, it's just a healing crisis. So you're detoxing and you're purifying and cleansing your body like the earth is having to purify and cleanse its body. And so as it does that, it's like, so when a human, you get skin reactions. So you can get boils and rashes and all kinds of weird skin things. Well, that is what's happening on the earth. It's skin land issues that are bubbling up as part of its purifying and cleansing process as it detoxes and purifies from all of this, as we have to as well. I mean, we all know that there's poison in the air, there's poison in the water, and there's poison in the food. So we have a lot of work to do, and so does Earth. And so these things are going to start happening more and more because of that cleansing and purifying, which is unfortunate because it obviously causes a lot of pain and suffering, but it is part of this process. But then, you have the man-made process on top of that they're trying to combat it. And, it's this, again, when you can really clearly see that truth of this true battle that's happening, there's nothing that happens to where you're like, oh, I know what they're doing. Oh, I see that. Oh, I see that. It's like, and it's a lot, but it's
on the other hand, on the other hand, I would actually say that it is becoming more obvious what they are doing and when they are doing it.
And they're also getting seriously messy, right?
Yeah, they're getting really sloppy.
Very sloppy. I mean, they're like, it's their last.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is it. We're on, whatever plan they're on, and they're really. They're trying to scrape.
We're currently at the alien agenda, Project Bluebeam.
Yeah, we're on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, with the whole New Mexico aliens, which are just combined from all kinds of other things, like the phalanges of the hands are not from the same hand. It's like literally put together. That shit got debunked so fast. And that's what we said, like they're getting sloppy.
Yeah.
But also they're that's how you could also see, and how that the life force really is
Waning.
We are winning indeed. It's because they're pulling open their box of tricks, and it's not okay. Let's try this now. Let's try this now. No, it's just fuck it. Let's just turn the whole box upside down, throw everything against the wall, hope that something sticks. If we're gonna go down, we're gonna take as many of you with us as we can. Yeah,
and that's it.
And that's really what's happening now. It's the darkest before the sunrise, and
exactly.
The twilight, the twilight of the gods, if you go by the pagan stuff. And I do believe that, like, we are, well, maybe at the beginning of the twilight. We're closing in on the dawn. We're closing in on the golden age. It's going to be peaceful for a while, and then I do see the pendulum just like swinging all the way the other way around again. But that's, then you can go into the hermetic principles that you just have to rise above the pendulum, be the point from where the pendulum swings, because that point always stays still.
Right. And that's, that's this, there's this weird film. It was a French film, and it actually got banned in the 90s.
So it was the French.
It was actually, it was weird. I mean, well, it was interesting. It got banned in all different kinds of countries, and I think you couldn't even, they didn't even allow it in to the United States. And the fascinating thing, it was called The Green Planet, I think. And the whole ethos of it was literally talking about everything that's happening, the war. And what it was showing is there was this other planet, and people would come here and they would try to help humanity, to kind of see and peer into, some of the spaces. And there's a storyline within it that said that the same timeline was, they tried to do that. It got their Earth, it wasn't Earth, but their planet that was very green and lush. Didn't have any water, I guess was their thing. Anyway, they had the same thing happening. It was getting hijacked. And the way that they stopped the hijacking is they actually were able to, they just said everything that was poisonous or did harm to us, we said no. We pushed it out. We just said no and let it all go. They threw out, you just saw, like, the picture that was showing in the film was all this stuff just thrown out onto the side of the street. And they said, we just started creating our own new things. And so it was basically telling humanity, just say no and get rid of everything that does you harm and start creating new things. And the powers that be did not like that film. I mean, again, they banned it everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, it didn't even really, it was, it was not a great film. Like, wasn't made super fabulous. I mean, it was back in the 80s or 70s or something. So there's that.
1996, actually. I think I found
good.
I found the IMDb page.
Okay, good. Yeah, 1996. So, you're getting, so it's just interesting that they, a message even just about letting just boycott and ban, even that message gets censored. It's like, it's to that degree. So we know that if we can just let go of everything that is poisonous to us and not, placate into, just to I do not comply, that energy is an energy that can stop the insanity. Truly.
Yeah.
It's that
And
simple,
that's,
which is weird, but it is.
yeah, but it's that simple, but that's also what makes it so hard, I guess, because like people are always looking for the easy way out. But
Yes.
the easy way out does have to come with the same amount of pleasure that the bad road, because it's exciting and fast food and all. It's you get that satisfaction from it, like a good burger. Oh yes, healthier alternative. Okay, yes, good idea, but it has to taste equally as good, and doesn't and cost the same, preferably less. And it's like that's not it's not how that works. It's not going to be the case. Well, then I'll just stick to my burger. It's like, okay, fine,
Yeah. This is when it
fine.
gets extremely hard because I mean, there are, I mean, and everyone, there's that spiritual saying, well, everyone's on their own path. And it's like, yeah, it's true. But when you're coerced and forced to be on a path that's poisoning you, is that a choice or is that just lack of education?
Well, I mean, it's especially nowadays in the age of information, to be uneducated, you could say, is a choice, because there are.
Today, yeah. 3
I mean,
seconds, you can, find so much.
yeah, like even like with the rise of podcasts and podcasting and podcasters and whatever. Like I'm connected with so many other podcasters who do like occult stuff and pagan stuff and whatever, and it's all so fun and it's so easy, and you can just listen to it during your workout or on your way to school or your job or whatever. Like that's how I do it. When I go to work, I just put on my headphones or put in my ear thingies and put on a podcast and just sit there and listen and learn. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. People are making it more complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know where to find the information. I don't know where to start. Start with the search engines. Like, really, even if it's just a highly censored search engine like Google,
yeah, you'll get something, right?
Or Wikipedia or whatever. You're still going to get the basics, and then you can go from there.
Yeah.
But stay rational. Rational thinking is also, well, a superpower nowadays, I guess.
It is a superpower. It is. And there's this other layer to this, which, for years I've been saying it's ignorance. It's not ignorance. It's literally ignoring by choice, on purpose.
Yeah.
And that is that's where we get into some dangerous waters, I feel, because now we're talking about humans that actually choose to be. It's like the Stockholm syndrome. It's where this is very real, and it happens when people have been brainwashed over and over and over again and traumatized over and over and over again, and they don't really know which way is up. They're stuck in that. They really don't know, and consciously choosing, well, I don't care, whatever. What do I care? I only live once. What do I care? But the truth is, if we really hook into the law of one, we are all one. We are truly connected on every energetic level, because that is literally the nature of who we are, and what we live in is an entire energetic structure. And so what happens to one, or what a group is choosing, can take another group down. And see, that is where it gets into, okay, well, we all need to rise. We all need to have this knowledge and wisdom, and learning what compassion even means for ourselves, because I think there's a lot of people that are even don't have the compassion for their own selves and the respect for their own selves, because they haven't seen that mirrored to them in any way, shape, or form, including familial relationships, which causes a whole other layer of just this, it's just this cycle of trauma that we see.
Yeah.
But many of us are here to break those chains. That's actually one of the indigo lines, which comes in with so much ancestral trauma. And these are usually people ridden with massive amounts of anxiety, and they don't know why. It's because they're actually the chain breakers, the lineage breakers. And so clearing an entire, however many generations of that kind of and trauma, that's a lot to carry. But some souls came in with those contracts to actually do those clearings. And that's clearing, that's helping Earth clear too, or Gaia.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all, we're all connected in that way, truly.
Yeah. But it's hard, and that's why people are always, looking for a leader, looking for someone to guide them, because nobody really wants to be the first one. Like they're all, and you see that in the most basic stuff. Like I see it in my work as well, or like with even with things like first aid. If someone, I don't know, like kind of gruesome, but has a heart attack, drops half dead on the floor, and you start, CPR and all that shit, and you're like, somebody call an ambulance, then everybody's gonna be like, okay, who's calling? Who's calling? And then it ends up nobody's gonna call. So you have to take the lead.
Action.
You have to
initiation.
You have to take action. It's like, okay, you're gonna get the defibrillator. You're gonna call an ambulance. You're gonna help me stay here. I'm gonna do this. It's
yeah.
You literally have to be a leader, otherwise nothing's gonna be done. And
it's true.
It's hard, but somebody has to do it. Like that's literally it. Somebody has to do it. So
yeah. Well, and that's
why not you? Why not us?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's part of the hard part is, I always think about it as you're at a wedding and it's like you go out and you start dancing first. And then everybody 2 minutes later, 10 minutes later, the dance floor is packed, and then it doesn't end all night. That's what's basically the stage that we're in right now. We are the ones going out on the dance floor first, and it's awkward.
I'm Dutch. I don't dance.
Yeah, well, you're the first responder. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, exactly. But it's awkward. It's just really, it's an awkward place to be, because again, a lot of us are we've lost friends, we've lost, just by speaking our truth. I mean, I had a couple of friends that were like, oh my God, you think that? Literally. And 12 years plus or whatever friendships were gone in an instant. And familiar relationships. I mean, it's just, so it's great, when you have like, my husband and I are, simpatico and like twin flames and, all the things, but it's difficult regardless, because you're losing, all of these things are falling away, but we have to, again, keep charging forward. It's like focus, purpose, mission. It's the only thing that matters. And truly, because like you said, it's the rise of a new kind of leadership, which is not the leader of the old, which, you lead by example, not by telling people what to do, right? You are the example. So it's a little different.
And now especially, because, we're being told what to do, what to think, left and right.
What to feel.
Yeah. What to
or
feel,
not to feel. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I just this afternoon watched 1984, the movie. I've read the book twice, and I thought, I want to watch the movie now. And it's like, wow, this shit is like, it is really going on.
Yeah.
Even 2+2 stuff, like that actually happened. They actually said, that something along the lines of, oh yeah, just assuming that 2+2 = 4 is now considered like racist or associated with like white supremacy and whatever. And it's like, that's basic calculus. Like, come on, I can ask my, my 8-year-old daughter, I can ask my 5-year-old son, well, like, what's 2 plus 2? And they'll say 4. I mean, my son, it'll take a while before he says 4. He'll say a million other things before that. Little hyper kid. It's got
Yeah.
energy.
But yeah, it's these basic, it's like all those, and that's I've more and more, I'm getting this, a lot of things that we are receiving information wise, is really just this, this energy of cutting cords. And the more that we can do that, the more that it empowers other people to do that. And that's kind of the energy. It's kind of that, it's that energy that carries everything behind you forward. And again, it's not comfortable. And there's, I think
definitely not. No.
Joy has been kind of like, I'm realizing, man, it's getting harder and harder to have joy. Because again, at every angle, I'm just seeing it all so clearly, and you can't unsee once you see. And that's the hardest thing. That is definitely the hardest thing. But what I realized is the more that I can step into the magic component, which is seeing the original blueprint creation in the trees, in a blade of grass, in the bee, in the things that actually are still on that rhythm of truth, that is the joy. Because all these other things, it just gets more and more maddening. And now, what we're having to do is alchemize so much rage. I have rage that these beings, these evil beings, human puppets and otherwise, how can you do this to creation, And that feeling is, and then there's grief, and there's all of these emotions that are attached to all of this. But what I do know is this is one, we are a bigger divine plan. And by healing this world, and by like basically saving everyone that chooses to move out of this matrix and not to be taken down, their pathway, that negative, and you're in the service to others, you're in, that space, that's going to actually be sewing back the fabric of the universe that has actually been torn apart. That's the visions that I see consistently. And that means this grander plan is so much larger than I think most of us can even fathom. And it's, whenever I have these visions and I'm trying to integrate it, it's seeing it on that scale of bringing realms together, reconnecting realms that have been broken apart. That is powerful. And that is how powerful every human is. And I just hope that, out of all the things that I do in in this mission, that is the message that is left. Because I think that if more humans can step into that divinity, to truly step into that power and reclaim it, I mean, that means everything.
Yeah. And that also comes, in the earthly realm as well, the connecting of the tribes, the connecting of the communities. It's a thing that we aspire to with the tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans as well. Like, we are aligned with so many other podcasters and other groups and other tribes that, think the same that we do, that have the same missions as we do. They may, do it a little differently. I'm friends with like decoders and crypto people and shamans and like you name it, the whole bunch. Like, they're doing it their way. They're doing it in that realm. But at the end of the day, we're all working towards the same goal, just different paths.
Exactly.
And it's, if you can work together, if you can connect those tribes, if you can connect as a tribe, then, that's so important, because all we have is each other. And I have been in enough groups and communities that, preach the same thing, that, say like, oh, we are all in this together. But, when push comes to shove, there's always people more important than others. And, but that's just something that I had to learn from. And that's why it's another reason why I founded the tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans, because I was like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of this. I'm just gonna do it myself. Like I can't find a group that
That's
is
what you
not
do.
like I can't find a group that is not like all the others. I can't find a group where I can like really grow the way I want to be growing, that I can learn the things that I want to learn. Like, I have to ask permission. I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't go there. I was like,
Exactly.
fuck it, I'll just do it myself, you know what?
Yes. And that is the beautiful part about, those saying yes to their mission, because man, that's so necessary, because, really honestly, a lot of things that were created in another energy, I would say before 2020 truly it's like, if things that were created like in 1995, or something, like communities or whatever, I'm finding that many of those are not true to form any longer. And they don't carry the ethos that they started with any longer. And you see a lot of breaking apart in things. I mean, my husband and I, we were looking for a community when we moved into, we're in the ancient mountain line that is the same mountain line that is in Scotland and Ireland and all through there.
Nice.
Appalachians, yeah. So, we were really thinking that we would find that here. Well, no, that wasn't the case at all. And then ones that we did find, you just started to see this this drastic difference of what truth or freedom meant and sovereignty, And that was quite interesting, because that was like a whole other layer of for us thinking, wow, I think we should probably just go so we bought our own land and we're building our own sanctuary. So it's kind of what you have to do. And then those that resonate can come into your field, and that's just how it,
Exactly. I mean, that's how many of our, of our members came to us, because they were disappointed by other groups, or Thane Josh, both Thane Josh and I, we actually we started at the Asatru community, which turned out to just be about money, and has very much gone like really political, being very little about Asatru anymore, and very little about the gods and our ancestors and heritage, and very much about like modern day politics, but try and connect it to our gods and heritage and whatever. And then both of us differently, we didn't even know each other back then, but we were like, no, this isn't working. This isn't it. It's like, this is not what I came here for. Good that you're like doing all these activist things and whatever, but like, how about like some actual teachings? Not, donate to this cause, and sign this petition. It's like, okay, but what about the actual teachings? Like, what about the stuff that I'm here for?
Yeah, the reason I joined. How about that?
Yeah. So, eventually Josh found the tribe as well, and he's my right-hand man. I trust him. I trust him with my life. I trust him with the tribe. My awesome. Wife and I, sometimes we have to take a step back because personal issues still a thing. But I know that with Josh and Raven, or Vidgi, or Cartomancer, he's more into the magic stuff. Josh and I are really the warriors. I know that with the boys, the tribe is in good hands, and they'll they'll look after it and take care of it and all. So, I found my tribe by quite literally creating my tribe.
Exactly. That's how it needs to happen. That it truly is. And the beautiful thing is that, everyone that's here with the mission has a very unique way to bring it through. And so everyone has their unique magic. Like I created an entire program called Tap Into Your Magic for a reason, because everyone is, no matter, even if somebody joins an organization that really pulls their heartstrings and they need, saving animals, for example, the beautiful thing about that is, even that's their overarching mission, but within their own way of working within that organization, they're going to bring their own magic through, their own ideas. They can create their own side thing that is like complementary to everything else they're doing. So, the good thing is there's a million ways now that we can bring our unique magic through, just by tapping into our unique flair because everyone, everyone's soul, we are all like truly the snowflake conversation. No one is the same. No one has the same soul construct, right? Yeah. We may be of the same lineages, but we're going to show up with our own framework because of our journeys in this incarnation. And so it's, really is beautiful how things are starting to unfold. This evil faction really wanted to, another clenching down, another like stamping out, another stifling down. But what happens is, no. So you have all these beings that are now standing up and saying no, and it's not going to happen. And that is, even though, it's hard to see it through all of the lies and the corruption and all the things, but that is like what you're doing, what I'm doing, what, many of us are doing is so powerful. And so I just hope everyone really understands how important it is. Like, it's critical, vital. It's not just, like, well, maybe I'll do that. No, you do that. There is, as Yoda said, there is no try. There's only do.
Yeah.
That
no,
comes
it's,
to mind.
I mean, it's true, either you do or you don't. It's the time for try and, like, first kind of dipping your toes in, see if it's for you. Like, we quite literally don't have time for that anymore. Like, look around you. The world is collapsing under our feet. It's crumbling down where we stand. Like, why try? Just do it.
Yeah.
Like, by the time that you are ready to take action, we're halfway through the battle already.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I think, some of the, it's like this concept of Valhalla, right? It's this, at least die doing something with valor and honor and courage. Right. And that is where we're at, at least go down doing something that's going to help humanity rise, or help animals, help the earth, plants, earth, whatever somebody's heart is called into, but do it with honor.
If you're gonna go down swinging.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm full of movie quotes, apparently, I'm realizing. But it's funny. In Harry Potter, there is a point in one of them where Dumbledore says, we're at the point where people are going to have to choose. There's a right way, and then there's the easy way. Right now, we're in that path point.
Yeah.
There is a right way and an easy way. So choose wisely. Yes, everybody's on their own journey, but choose wisely, because that choice is going to take you down very different pathways in which you may not actually, from a soul construct, really want to go down. So really feel into that Sacred Heart, because, again, somebody chooses the incorrect path. That could be a lot more than they think that it is, than just by making a wrong choice or no choice at all, which is even worse in my book.
Yeah, no, it is. Like, we truly are at the point that we're gonna have to make a choice. We're gonna have to make a stand. The time of just, sitting back and watching it unfold and writing down a game plan and whatever. Like, if you don't have a game plan by now, like, sorry, you're too late. Like, just step aside, we'll do it.
Get out of our way. Yeah, but
coming through.
But that's the other energy to it, is at any age, say yes. Just say yes today. Say yes, because there's nothing to lose. There's everything to gain just by especially, and I'm speaking to all of our souls that are saying yes to serving others, yes to bringing hearts together, yes to saying no to this, patriarchy, this horrible construct. And, that energy, if we combine and unite, and in fact, I just did a video that also is, by the way, throttled and shadow banned, but I knew it would be. But I have been wanting to do this for a long time. So Charlie Chaplin did a film back in 1940, and it was called The Great Dictator. And if no one has seen that, I definitely recommend seeing that. It is.
I know which one you mean. Haven't seen it, but I know.
It's amazing. And I think there's a much bigger truth in that I'm just my husband and I are kind of like ironing out. And anyway, he has a speech within there that is just absolutely phenomenal about uniting. So I actually kind of modernized it and I redid that speech, and I have it on my Awakening Magic, my shadow band YouTube channel. And it's on there, but that was all about this concept of unite, not, fight for liberty, not for slavery. Fight for humanity, fight the good fight is really the underlying message. Because I mean, who stands up for all the beings that don't have voices? I mean, it's our job as guardian protectors of this realm, for those of us being called into that energy, to be those kinds of beings that stand up for these and take action. And yeah, it is being shadow banned. I knew that it would be, but I modernized it a little bit. But the imagery very much tells the story. So, but that is the energy that's being called, is a call for true unity around, even if we can't get our heads around, well, you don't believe in the Bible, you don't think that it's all true, or, all these little tiny little belief systems that honestly, at the end of the day, they don't matter. What matters is to not be enslaved anymore. I'm pretty sure that would be like the biggest ultimate call, right? So if we can at least organize around that.
You'd think so. I mean, does it really matter what God you believe in? No. Does your spiritual path, does it really matter? I mean, well, yes and no. I mean, it
matters, but I mean, we shouldn't fight against, it's like, are you unifying under a bigger umbrella, or going to still want to be divided under these tiny little, like,
are you gonna, I mean, that's a thing within the pagan community, especially like a lot of neo-pagans, the newbies, as I like to call them, their little pet name. Oh, it's a little newbie, how cute. A lot of them will come from that Christian Abrahamic dogma, and they'll be just like so against it, and raging against the church, and raging against the religion, and oh, my God will take down your God and whatever. And it's like, dude, we've done that. Don't worry, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. It's, if you look at the church nowadays, yeah, it's fucking disappointing.
Yeah,
just don't go there. I mean, go to church for like the architecture and the art and whatever. That's still amazing. Go for it, like for the church and like the building itself. But for the lessons and all, nah, fuck it.
Yeah.
So I get it, but you're like more like you're being a antichrist more than being a pagan. And
Exactly. And I think that again, like we're missing a lot of information. I mean, I think a lot of
we are.
pagans would actually be quite distraught to probably hear that Christianity from all of my spiritual team learnings is nothing to do with what we see in current day, but this Christed consciousness, right? And this way of living and being was like of a very, very different. So what people said in the Gnostics and the Cathars and the Essenes and the real Knight Templars, that, and there were real Christians that knew of this Christed consciousness, of this, the grail of the genetic, the genetic code, and
there are people who talk about that. I did a show with Micah Dank on astrotheology, for example, and his teacher Santos Bonacci will talk a lot about that, about the the Christos and how it actually is, and that it's a reflection of the human body and the zodiac, and the Bible isn't literally like it isn't a history book. It's astrology, astronomy, alchemy. It's all
magic.
of that. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But people are taking it literally. That's
exactly.
That's what I say about Christianity as well. Like what they teach you in church nowadays as Christianity. No.
Yeah.
As a religion nowadays, I have no respect for it. As a mystery school, different. I do see the use of it. I do see the value of it, like in its purest form.
And it's really hard to get to that purest form because of all of the hijacking of what the word even Christian means, even the word God. I mean, it took me a long time to get over, to be able to, because I knew the truth. It's just, it was very difficult for me to speak those words because, I was one pushed into the hijacked frame, the false God religions with this evil fear-mongering God of like, I will spite you, and it's horrible. And I was like, I was literally 11 or 12 and I was like,
do as I say or burn forever.
No, yeah.
How loving.
I was like, absolutely not. And I remember I told my parents, I'm like, if you ever take me to church again, to Sunday school again, I will become a Satan worshiper.
Just to
because obviously I didn't even, it was like, I didn't know, I wanted out. Like, don't make me go. I mean, it was like, you see, and that's what made them start to push me into like, whoa, what's wrong with her? And it's like, nothing. I saw the purest form of what was possible, and you were pushing me into false religion.
Yeah,
and
what's wrong with her? What's wrong with the church?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with what the hell they are preaching? I mean,
yeah, it was just nonsense.
It is. I mean, my family has a Roman Catholic background. My parents unfortunately fell off the faith, to nobody's surprise, really. But my grandparents, rest their soul, they were Roman Catholic, and I've been to the church with them, especially with my my grandmother from mother's side. But that was more like, that was the church that the whole family went to. It was in my grandmother's birth town, so we went on Christmas and Easter, but that's more just we're doing it for her, and it's a family gathering and all. But I tried the whole Christian Catholic whatever thing. I tried it. It kind of worked for a while because I was seeing some things, but the one thing that stopped me, the one hurdle that I couldn't get over, was the belief or else.
Yeah, right.
That brought on so much stress. Like, I couldn't do anything else. I had to constantly watch what I do, watch what I say, watch what I think, was what I feel.
Very fear
It was
inducing,
so, yeah, and it
and
was
that
so tiring, but I had to, because like I don't want to burn forever, but I can't live my life this way.
don't be you, be something that yeah, it's that's another entrapment, obviously. I mean, it was literally the church as an entity was created to entrap souls so that they would think that they don't have sovereignty over their own soul, that it's some other being. Well, it's just some other being just doing all the things for me.
Yeah.
Or I literally had one woman, because I do private one-to-one sessions in varying ways, but one way is to really tap into helping people's sacred soul and really looking and peering into the places that perhaps they have not seen. I had this one woman who told me, this is years ago now, that said, oh, I've decided that I will not go forward with this. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And she's like, well, I just wanted to share with you why. She said, because Jesus will do it for me. And I was like,
Yeah. Okay.
what? I mean, that was like, oh my God, are you serious? So now some other person's going to do all of your work for you.
Yeah.
So you don't do anything, yet your life is stuck in this habitual negative loop, and all the praying and all the things that you've done up until this point hasn't worked, but now it's going to. It was like,
trust Jesus. He'll fix it.
I the false relationship that people have with the savior conscious, the entrapment, the savior victim type of consciousness within people this is how they've been entrapped to, keep incarnating, to keep doing, and never getting anywhere. And every generation just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and more trauma.
Well,
and it's crazy.
I mean, coming back to the Harry Potter quote, Dumbledore quote, that's the easy way. Just put your faith in something else that you believe is
Exactly.
higher and that you believe will fix it for you, and just sit back and, I guess, let the magic happen, let the magic work, let the Holy Spirit, go through you, which really sounds like possession, but okay.
I mean, it's just such a diverted way of looking at spiritual work or inner work, or simple terms like self-discovery, personal development. Like, and most of these beings carry very narcissistic energy, because to them, everything else does it for me.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything. I don't have to look at what I didn't do or what I did wrong, and that creates a lot of that. And also, you have a lot of these people that are also like, I'm a God-fearing person. It's like, well, I don't know about you, but God, prime creators and energies that I know are not, they don't want you to fear it, because it's love. It's literally unconditional love.
Yeah, no, exactly. And even when they do something wrong, it's just, oh, I got tempted. So, it's still not my fault. It's still some outside entity that did it.
Taking responsibility, never, no. and ever, for anything, ever. And that's where I also really want, I teach this all the time, I should say facilitate, because that's where that's where I had my sacred heart, my thymus chakra, that burst open in 2020, and I did an automatic writing after. And that was the mother energy coming in. That unconditional love, I had never even understood what that exactly felt like until that moment. And that unconditional love is the divine, is the source, is this energy that is so stripped from this realm. I mean, it's just, and it really saddens me to see these people stuck in fear, even of a divine source, of
Yeah.
talk about false god matrix. I mean, that is entrapment at its best. And again, like you said, it's so easy. And that's the other crazy part, is how easy that is. Because then again, well, you can't actually touch the divine, but the priest can.
Yeah.
Like
the middleman,
Yeah.
But if God is so strong, if the divine is so strong, then why the need for a middleman? That's the whole
questions, and it's interesting that.
But don't you dare ask them. Not to those people, at least.
No, yeah.
They'll shun you and call you a demon worshiper.
That was definitely me. I was that my whole life, just because I asked questions.
Yeah. You're not supposed to do that. Just blind trust.
Do what we say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't work for us all. We're not here for that path.
No, I mean, good effort, but
not gonna work.
didn't stick, unfortunately.
No, but it's pretty hard to be the outlier too. It's not easy. It's not.
No, I mean, unless you've kind of been the outlier, the outcast, the different one all your life. Be it
it gets easier
in school or whatever. At a certain point, and this was before the gods found me, or before I found my faith, found my path. I was always seen as like kind of different, so I at a certain point just like made it a point to be different. It's like, okay, you're already seeing me like that. You're already quite literally telling me like, oh, you're different from the rest. You're not like us and whatever. It's like, fine, then I'm gonna be as different as I can.
Which is like a whole other.
You're going that way, okay? Then I'm gonna go that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's as indigos and starseeds with those with a mission. We have to forge our own path. That's part of that energy, and it is quite. It's actually when we try to do what everyone else is doing, we suffer more. I know that I have. It ended up, in a divorce before I was even 25 years old. Oops. But, it was like, I tried to do what everyone else is doing, and man, it did not work. Wow. I was like, oh, that, yeah. Okay, team, I gotcha. We're okay. We're good. I now understand.
Yeah, I mean, now you know.
Yeah, and there you go. You will never do what mainstream does again, right?
No, it's like that old Microsoft's Word thing, like the more you know.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy.
So sometimes you just you have to fall flat on your face before you actually clearly see things. It's like, oh, you got some dirt in your eyes. Like, how about you just wipe it? Nah. Okay, plant.
No, I'm good, thanks. Yeah. It's.
You sure about
that? But to me, I don't think anyone is meant. I think some of us are just like from the get-go. It just comes out, and it's I mean, I wouldn't even believe in Santa Claus at like 3 or 2 or whatever. So it was just there, when I was born. And regardless of when that kicks in for people, it's when that kicks in that actually is the most important point, because that's when you have to see it and know it. Because then if you don't listen to it the first time, it's going to come back again with an even stronger vengeance. And then again, and then again. And you told this story earlier. It keeps getting more insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to highlight this comment. I totally understand about the divorce thing, but in my defense, I broke a mirror before I married him. married him. 7 years elapsed, then I got free. You gotta be careful with those mirrors. They're
those
tricky.
mirrors, yeah, those are very tricky things. Yeah, it happens. Mine only lasted a year. So, yeah, that was short and intense. And, the crazy thing is, like, when you go against your soul construct, I remember looking in the mirror and going, I don't even know who you are. And it took, it was very, there's a lot of things in that's very Jerry Springer-ish, if you know what I mean. Like, it was pretty, it was just, it's like, who could hurt who more kind of an energy, which is so devoid of unconditional love. And that's sad, but,
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, I have definitely made some mistakes. I have definitely fallen for some traps. But like all with the best intentions. Like it all came, from the heart. I was wanting to do good. I was trying to do good, but with the wrong people, unfortunately. I mean, I have 2 beautiful children, but I mean, if I could have had them with a different mother, it would have made my life a lot easier. Yeah. I mean, my wife and I, like, we did a whole like soul searching thing about that, and turns out that the mother of my kids, her, and like my wife and I, we have been connected in some way for like so many lives in different forms. Then they were sisters, then they were cousins, or switched roles or whatever. And when we found that out, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, now things actually start to make sense. Like, we kind of had the puzzle pieces, but now we have the image. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, but then again, now we also know what to do. Now we know how to fight it, how to combat it, and how to make sure that this is the last life wherein all that shit happens.
That trauma connection and stuff is exactly.
I mean, I absolutely love my kids, but I mean, I hate to say it, but technically it's another trap that I fell in. Best trap ever, if that makes sense.
No, I hear exactly what you're saying, and you're right. It is, that is another thing, because what happens when you're so, like, we have 4 furry babies, like 4. Oh my God. Like, I know people, it's like, but these are toddlers that never grow up. Like, like constant toddler, right? But anyway, that, it's that energy of like, when you're so ingrained here, how do you ever go here?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, no, I've had some traumatic experiences with their mother, but I'm healing from it. I have, become stronger because of it. My will has become stronger for it. I now like truly know what I want, and I'm fighting to have it, and fighting to keep it. It's the warrior. I have to be a warrior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it becomes part of that mastery, true mastery of, whatever's entangled in that is a part of our mastery very often. We all have our, and that's the other thing, we, at the end of the day, cosmic lineages put aside, earth bloodline lineages put aside, at the core of it all, we are all human right now in this incarnation. And we are a part of all. No one is not susceptible to being trapped into these things that have been created. Vanity, materialism, this concept of having children, and not doing spiritual work, and, getting corporate life, and like, all these things, money alone. Right. So yeah, there's a lot of traps. And I've always, even our origin families are traps often. And so how can, again, the ones that have lots of trauma, right? So there's a lot of hurdles. So really, many of us are track and field experts in the hurdle area.
Yeah. Oh, I like that one. It's like we have mental gymnastics, and then like
yeah,
I like
definitely.
I'm gonna add that one to my my personal dictionary.
Yes, please do. That just came up, so that's new. So yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Oh man, I think we should about wrap it up. We've been going on for 2.5 hours.
That's crazy. I was just like, wait, is that right? And then I looked at the time and I was like, yes, that is right.
Yeah, no, that is
beautiful
is right.
Conversation.
Yeah, thank you very much. And that's that's how 2.5 hours fly by. We get stuck in an amazing conversation like this. So to close out, let the good people know where they can find you, where they can find your stuff, your teachings.
Yes. Well, I have a few different sites, but the easiest one to just go to is natalieviglione.com. And I have everything linked there as like the hub. And I also, I have I wrote a light workers, star seeds, and indigos guide to really tapping into their magic and mastery. And I'd love to offer that to your listeners and send you a link to it. That way, it really is about going within, even into like DNA kind of deep, to really speaking to the universe within you. I have a lot of activations and stuff that is within that, and also how to claim your sovereignty again, which is really, 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 really important right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
a big one right now. Yeah, no, absolutely. Just send me the link of where to find it, and I'll make sure to put it up in the description box down below, where I have some of your things already. Cool. Of course, I always make sure to promote my guests as well. This isn't just about the Greyhorn Pagans. This is about my guests as well. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on. This has been amazing. I totally skipped dinner because of this.
I skipped lunch too. Who needs food? When you're having good conversation.
Exactly. It's all the nourishment I need.
Exactly. It's true. Well, thank you, Stein. And I really appreciate you having me on. This has been lovely. And I look forward to new conversations in the future.
Yeah, most definitely. If you need to go, you can go. I'm just gonna, plug my stuff real quick. So.
Okay.
Yes. See you later. This has been an amazing episode on the Greyhorn Pagans podcast. You can find all that we do. The podcasts are blogs, random ramblings, the tribe itself, of course, everything that we do, you can find it on www.greyhornpagans.com. The link for that is also in the description box down below, of course. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for everyone who was so incredibly active in the chats. This has been awesome. It hasn't been active like that in a while. So thank you all very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. If you're watching this afterwards, leave something nice in the comments. If you're listening to this on the podcasting platforms, please do leave us that 5-star rating. It helps more than you know. This is about it. This has been all. I am going to make myself some dinner. I am hungry. So thank you all until next time, yeah, bye bye. See ya.